Kia ora everyone, day 25 and I'm finally back in profit for April. Took 3 trades today, 100% accuracy and finished with $148 in gross profit. I felt more confident and patient, disciplined, and it paid off. So let's break down today's trades. So as you can see, my 3 trades were all green today, 100% accuracy, which is great. My first trade I took was on MSTZ. I traded that twice and then 1 trade on JNVR. I woke up this morning and the first stock that I saw was actually this stock here, BJDX. BJDX had already made this move around 6.30 from around $6 up to about 7 and was sort of pulling back. So I didn't trade this. I thought about it, but it looked like it rolled over and the MACD had closed. So I thought I'd see if it pulls back. So I started looking for other trades. The other thing about this stock is that it was a margin restricted stock for me, so I couldn't take my full share size on it. I could only trade 100 shares, which isn't that bad really, but that was just something else that sort of put me off trading it. So I sat on the fence with this and didn't trade any of this move here all the way up to $11.43. So that was probably a bit of a missed opportunity there, even though trading 100 shares, even if I could have pulled out some of this, this would have been a good stock to have traded. But I ended up trading MSTZ, and you know, this here went from, had bounced off the low and was coming up, and I was looking at taking an entry off this low here off the 9 EMA for a pushback to VWAP. So that was my trade idea and my plan that I had for the stock. I'll just play this a bit faster. So I put in my entry here. What did I end up buying in it? I didn't want to buy the dip, that's right. I didn't want it to come down. Sort of wanted it to, yeah. So I bought in there at the low on the 9 EMA. And initially it looked like a good trade. But then it pretty much pulled back on me. So I did think it had the strength to go to the VWAP or at least push towards it. But what ended up happening is this pulled actually right back. And I was in this trade a lot longer than I was expecting to be. So the volume didn't come in on this, probably because most of the volume was in the other stock, BJDX, at this time. BJDX was pushing up over 850 around now, so I probably should have really stopped out on, you know, on this candle here, that one, where it broke down below the previous low, and that should have been my stop. And then I could have been re-entering possibly down here if I wanted to get back in on the trade. But I ended up holding through this pullback, and you can see it's kind of curling, but then it has this big dip. This is a bit of a worry. But it did recover after this, and it struggled to get over 15, 18, 15, 20. Just going to speed this up because it was a long trade. I did hold it for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes or 40 minutes? Can't quite remember actually. But yeah, it comes up here and I think this is where it breaks through that level finally. Yeah, it broke through And then I thought, great, it's coming to profit. And I probably sold a bit too early here. I put a sell order in at about 15.40, and I probably could have held for longer. I could have held for the break of VWAP really. Would have been a much longer trade, but that was the initial plan. Pulled back again. But now it's bouncing off that former resistance around 15.20, 15.18, and it eventually pushes through, and I get out at 15.40, I believe. Let's speed that up a bit. 15.46, I think, actually. So yeah, I took my profit there at 15.46, and it does push a bit further up to 15.55, 15.60. But it was a good first trade. It was $46.80 in the green, so got me in the green for the day, for the start of the day. So I was happy with that. The next trade I took was on JNVR. So I kind of missed some opportunities here on JNVR. So this was the front of the move. I might actually bring up on the chart, it's a bit easier. So this broke around 8:42 this morning, and I saw it when it was had made a high here of around, I think it was here 875, and it pulled back to around 750, around to the VWAP here, and I missed that opportunity. I thought about buying in on the VWAP at around 750. I cancelled my order. I would have got filled, and it did push up eventually to break that previous high, 870, and I missed all this move here. I thought about taking another entry here at 850, around the $0.50, but then again I hesitated again and cancelled my order and didn't take that. So I missed this entire move after it broke. Did have good news as well, came out with good news, so you know, it really should have been in at least here for the break of the previous high, or that dip back down when it pulled back here, looking at taking that trade as well to push through to $9.50. I eventually did get in on when it pulled back to the VWAP, broke the VWAP and came back up, and then I took this dip here, I think it was, maybe this one. It had broken through VWAP and it was holding above it, and I put an order in around 9.40, and on the dip I got filled, and then I sold too soon. Well, I should bring the video because it really, so you can see I'm trying to put orders in here, but I'm just not sure, and glad I didn't get an order in there at 10.92, because then it would have pulled all the way back to $9, you know, and that would have been not good. But this is my fill here, so I put my order in down here at 9.40 on the VWAP, and boom, there, I get filled on that candle there, and immediately my trade's working. I put an order in at 9.80, and I'm looking at just getting a fill just below the resistance level there, and I got that there. So it was a nice quick trade, in and out, 40 cents a share. So $80 on that trade, and now I'm up at 126.80 for the day. I could have held longer, probably should have held longer, waiting for the break of that $10 mark, as it broke through that straight through the previous high of day at 11.22. So that would have been, that would have been a great trade as well. I doubt I would have held any longer than that, even if I hadn't have got out here at 980, sorry. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have held to 13.50, that's for sure. But even if I'd got up around 11.20, something like that, that would have been a much better trade. It would have been about $2 a share, so around 400. But happy with my base hit. That was a good trade in the end, nice and quick, and in and out. Probably should have got back in there again, but that's fine. And the last trade I took was again on MSTZ. So I didn't have the confidence to get back in on this stock here, JNVR, even though it did push higher. Just the range was a little bit daunting for me. So I left that one alone. A lot of the times when these stocks are moving so volatile, often I get scared out of this trade. So I will panic sell sometimes. So I've really got to teach myself not to do that. It's, learning how to have confidence in these ones that are really volatile. So the next trade I took was after the open. I didn't trade anything at the open. Like you can see, JNVR pushed up to the previous high, but then flushed, massive flush down. Look at that. And I think I actually put an order in here. I thought about putting an order in, but because of the open, it had switched over to being a margin restricted stock, and I could no longer buy 200 shares of the stock. So I could only buy 100. So that sort of put me off trading it, and as well, but just the volatility, it's made a good push, but now it's pulled all the way down here, and then it flushes. And this was MSTZ. So this is my next trade. So this one here, I got in here sort of off the low, and it pushed straight away back up into profit, and I took it straight away. It was just a quick scalp, really. I was expecting it to sort of bounce off that level, and it did. And as soon as it did, I just took my profit off the table straight away. It did end up pushing further. So, should I go back? Yeah. So, yeah, I got in this at this level here, and it was around a similar level on the chart where it's had some support previously. So that's sort of why I put my order in there. I got in the dip, and then as soon as it pushed up and my trade was working, I wanted to get out straight away. So it's just a quick dip trade. Yep, and then pushes up into profit, and I was just like, yep, no, that's me, I'm out. Is that on there? Get rid of that. Yeah, so as you can see here, there was an opportunity to actually re-enter. So I could have bought again in on this dip and then looked for a push higher. So it did end up breaking through VWAP here and actually pushing through to make a new high on the day. So I think it got to about 1650 or something like after this, on this push. There's a couple pullbacks though during it. I think I've got it here. Yeah. So it broke through there. But this is coming to the end of my trading session as well. So coming up to 10 o'clock, that's generally when I finish trading for the day. So I didn't want to take any more risk. I'd made a decent amount of profit for the day, and I was happy walking away with $148 in profit. So it was good to stay within my rules today. You know, stay within my rules and, you know, walked away when my time was up, avoided any FOMO, so that was good. And back in the green for April. So yeah, after last week, having a red week, it's good to feel that back in the green, managed to, you know, make back the drawdown from last week. I've still got a little bit of drawdown on March still to make up, about $117, I think. I'm still down from March, but hopefully I can do that this week and get back to the green overall. So happy with overall, my stats are looking good. For the month, my stats are looking quite good. My average win is just slightly more than my average losers. 28.14 versus 26.57. 50% accuracy on the month, and my risk reward is just in the positive 1.06. So that's why we are just slightly profitable for the month. So you can see here on my P&L curve for the month, took a dip down to about 200, managed to pull it back a little bit last week, and today managed to push in over the black line there, and you know, looking a bit better at the start of this week. So it's nice to have a green start to the week, and you know, making up for that drawdown from last week. So happy with today, feeling mentally stronger, but still need to work on holding for those bigger wins and getting in earlier on the front side of those moves. Would you have stayed in longer or locked in the base hits like I did? Let me know in the comments and I'll catch you tomorrow. Hei au popo.